Happy 2014, folks, and I am back with a whole bunch of new reviews. This time, I'm going to be reviewing the Trinity War DC Comics action figure set. But before we get to that, I do want to apologize. Initially, I had meant to upload a slew of new videos for 2014, but Windows Movie Maker sucks. And let me tell you why. I'm going to make a long story short. It happens that when I record a video on my camera, it gives it a numeral name, and every time you delete a video from it, it begins back from the start. So if your first video is 001 and you delete 001, the next video that you'll be taking on this camera would be 001 again. Apparently Windows Movie Maker has a caching problem where they assume that any file name that is the same means that you're editing the same video, and takes previous settings, including time, and assumes that it's the same video. So what happened was, to give a shortened version of it, I edited a video that was 001 .mts, which is the format that this camera records in. I edited that video and I saved it, and then I edited another 001 video. It did not differentiate the difference between these two wildly different videos, despite the first one being maybe 5 minutes long and the second one being 10 minutes long. The problem comes in where Windows Movie Maker decides, hey, this second video must also be 5 minutes long. So it cuts everything off in the end, assuming that I've made cuts and revisions and all of that without telling me. And for some reason, having a movie editor that works with file names rather than, let's say, just files seems extremely daft to me. Could not find anything to help me along the cause, so I'm probably not going to be using that in the future, or having to name stuff very, very differently. Anyway, so let's get along to that. This is a review that I've already done, and so it may sound a little bit rushed, but maybe you guys would enjoy that. I don't know. Anyway, so here is the Trinity War set. It's got Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, I've always wanted to collect a Justice League set. Unfortunately, didn't have the time or the patience, or the cash to do it. The reason being, in order to collect the entire set, in general, with toy prices nowadays, a 7-piece set of Justice League members would be about, I don't know, it could run the range of $150 just retail, and that's, and that's discounting scalpers, assuming that you've only gotten it in stores or you haven't gotten a sale. It can really go either way. Anyway, so this is why I really, really like this 3-piece set. I believe I got it for about $40, making each of these figures just around $13 or $14, which is pretty awesome, especially considering that I don't really play with toys nowadays. I love opening them and I love displaying them. I love putting them on my shelf, and that's about where it would stay. Because nowadays, I would say that a lot of collectors are fighting the urge, where they're looking at a wave of figures, knowing that it's going to cost them upwards of $50, and they've got to make the core decision whether or not they want to get, let's say, a new hard drive, a new video game, or 3 or 4 or 5 action figures to put on their shelf. And I think this is what every collector kind of goes through. Anyway, for the extremely attractive price for about $40, I've gotten this set and I could not be happier. I feel like I've gotten the definitive version of all these characters. They're not some weird, crazy version. They aren't a repaint version. Well, I mean, they are a repaint version, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I do want to say that, as with all figures in this general set, there is not a lot of posability that can go on, despite the fact that it has a lot of joints. But because of their balancing issues and the way they were sculpted, it really isn't meant for too many different poses. In general, this set is the type where either you're playing with it if you're a kid, obviously that's fine, then it really doesn't matter. But if you're a collector like me, you can't make these guys look like they're running or flying or jumping or crouching or whatever, because the balance for the figures and the poses and the musculature of their poses just does not reflect many other different positions that they could be put in. Let's go with Superman first. So I think this is an awesome version of Superman. Let's see here. We gotta get black screen. Yeah, there we go. I think this is a great version of Superman. He looks young, he looks a little bit cocky. I have not read any of the New 52, which is what all these figures are based on. But, you know, it doesn't take away from the fact that this figure looks really awesome. I think some people may have a problem that he looks a bit cocky, but the way I see it, this is the pose that he gives robbers as they're shooting at him with bullets. He's like, really? You think that's going to work? You really think this is in your best interest? I don't think so. Let me just prop up this little back thing here with this. High production values. Anyway, so let's get back to this figure. There we go. So he's got this little knowing smirk that his bullets are, you know, your bullets are just going to tickle his nipples. He's got wind-blown hair, which is pretty awesome. It looks pretty up to date. I love his shiny suit. In the comics, I don't think his suit is shiny, but I think when you have an action figure like this, having a shiny suit really adds some definition and gives it a futuristic look. Sometimes a matte coloring doesn't do justice for this kind of thing. Let's see, he's splashed in a metallic paint. He's got a black S symbol, which I actually wish wasn't glossy on his kind of matte cape, which is okay. We've got no, I mean, not too much detail, but we do have black washing within these techno lines or whatever you want to call it. His entire suit is, you know, blue. He doesn't have the red underwear. Don't think that's a big deal. I think it's one of those things where a comedian, let's say in 1990, realized, hey, you know what might be a good observational joke? If we point out that superheroes wear underwear on the outside. This will be funny. And, you know, it's one of those jokes that I think is extremely prevalent within the comic circles, but I don't think anybody has ever laughed at it. I don't think, you know, I think it's an observation to make in the same way that, hey, Batman wears gloves. Is he cold? Is that the reason he wears gloves? See, that's not funny. I didn't mean it to be funny. I'm just trying to prove a point that I don't think a joke about underwear on the outside of the costumes was ever really that funny. Let's see, he's got metallic boots, which is pretty awesome, you know. He's got this new belt with the kind of like his crest, his seal on it without the S. He's got this newer S look. It's pretty awesome. And all the figures in this set have shoulder articulation, upper arm, one elbow joint, no wrist, head movement in most of the ways. It's got some restrictions due to the molding, but that's okay. No waist. We got a T-crotch, one knee, and no ankle. Alright? That's going to be universal around all of them, so I don't really want to repeat myself after that. So, yeah. I like the fact that his cape droops a little. However, functionally, I don't think it works that way. That is to say that if he's flying around, I feel like this droop might look unattractive from a design standpoint. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think it really cares. I don't think it really matters. I mean, even like this, it looks a little lazy. I don't know. But whatever, you know, that's the design of it. From the front, he looks no different, and he looks like a classic Superman. So if you're looking for a classic Superman, you know, pick this guy up. I think he looks pretty awesome. So, moving along, let's get to Batman. Now this is an extremely classic looking Batman. He looks really, really awesome. The molding is amazing. I mean, if you were to look at this figure is the epitome of a Batman. He's got these little tech lines, but he doesn't have blackwashing in it, which is attractive on this one, because if you blackwash it, he may look, you know, kind of robotic. I don't know, whatever. He's got a nice looking belt, a very shiny yellow belt, and we'll get to that in another review, actually. He's got black boots. I would say the biggest problem I have with this figure is actually the fact that most of his black bits are glossy. As you can see, his cowl is on gloss, his gloves are in a gloss, and his boots are in gloss. And they're very shiny. Not so great, I think, for a stealthy character. I would have much preferred it if this were matte, like the rest of his costume, but perhaps I might have preferred just the bat symbol to be glossy. His, in a striking, I don't want to say continuity error, but it's, the fact that his cape is sort of matte and doesn't match his cowl is a little bit weird to me. From a action figure design standpoint. As far as I know, and I do know, the Heroes and Villains set features a Batman with a matte cowl, which I do enjoy a lot more, but we'll get to that in another video. Yeah, so we've got some nice paint apps. It's extremely simple. There's not much that can go wrong, and the reason I bring that up with Superman and Batman is because Wonder Woman went sideways on me. But anyway, yeah, the detailing is really, really awesome. Let's see if we can get a focus on this. It's going to be a little bit tough. Yeah, there we go. So he's got some amazing details in his glove. I don't know what any of this does. I don't know whether this is like an airport or it shoots gas or something, or whether these are batarangs that he can remove and chuck at people. But, you know, if I were a little kid and I were playing with my Batman, that is totally what I'd be doing. Thinking, oh man, this releases gas and I can throw these or shoot these out of my, you know, whatever. He's got one closed fist and one open fist. The bad thing, that doesn't make a huge difference, is that he didn't come with any accessories. I think Batman is always cool when he's holding batarangs. This guy doesn't come with batarangs, and I'm sad. And I don't know, having one open hand is sort of weird. I feel like he could have done with, you know, two closed fists like Superman, but, you know, whatever. And here's a look at Superman's two closed fists. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, there's some nice detailing here. We've got, you know, this crest thing here, going back to this Superman. His skin is matte colored, so that is pretty awesome actually. Because a problem I found with action figures in the past is that if you're trying to take a picture of them, and you got an errant light source, their face and their fist would be shiny when you know that it shouldn't, taking away a little bit from the overall look of the character. Now, here we are. We are going to talk about Wonder Woman, and because Microsoft Live Movie Maker or whatever ate my old video, I actually don't have the before look. So this is actually a repaint that I did because the left eye of Wonder Woman was painted badly, where the pupil was over the eyelid, and so I ended up having to repaint everything, kind of reapplying her makeup, and I also had to reapply her lipstick, as stupid as that sounds, because it was painted off, where only the bottom lip was painted correctly and the top lip was kind of like a very thin straight line, which made it look like she had no upper lip. So this is the end result. I'm happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty awesome. I fixed the eye issue, although I really have I may have an old picture somewhere, but you can see that, you know, it's not perfect. The paint that I used was actually nail polish, which is great for action figures because it dries quickly and it dries with a gloss. And so if you kind of make a mistake, it's easy to scrape off something that's completely dry. But yeah, whatever. So what I did was I used a little bit of purple nail polish and kind of gave her some eyeshadow to hide the fact that her pupil was all the way up there. I also drew in some black eyeliner, and then gave her a deeper shade of red lipstick that's really shiny. So I don't know if you can see the yeah. I threw away the box as well, so I can't Maybe I should have prepared this prior, but let me see if I can find it. The way it should have looked. I may have saved the picture. I'm gonna take a look at it for it now. Okay, great, I did. So the original action figure looked a little bit like that. You can see the pupil over the eyelid. You can see that's a very thin upper lip. Now you see the difference between mine and that. There's more definition on the upper lip. It looks like, you know, whatever. And this is how Wonder Woman was supposed to look, which I liked quite a bit, but but that's not going to happen. That's not what happened. So yeah, there's that. Right, so the details behind Wonder Woman is these. It comes with a lasso that is permanently affixed here. Not so good looking because, I don't know, it's just a very bland metallic yellow. I think the let's see if I can. Like, people know it's supposed to be a rope, but it doesn't look like a rope. It looks more like string, like she's got yarn. So, I mean, that's a minor thing to complain about. The other thing is that, from what I understand, she's missing a sword, which is okay. I don't mind, you know. Whenever I see Wonder Woman on a comic cover, she's not usually holding a sword when she's doing a cool pose. But, you know, so I don't really need that. She's got, you know, this bodice, and she's got, like, these, you know, star-spangled underwear or whatever, bikini line. You know, her boobs are a little, in my opinion, a little big. You know, her proportions have been exaggerated. I mean, if you look at the silhouette of a normal woman, you're not going to see the outline of her boobs, for example. But obviously, I think with an action figure or, you know, a comic figure, if you just, if you left it too, I don't know, like normal sized, it may look too small. Because it's not in your face enough. I mean, I don't really know the answer, but I mean, these look a little bit too big. They're very round. Feel like, you know, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, we're not gonna get into that too much, but you know, again, a minor thing, because I think some other action figures. I mean, this looks big, but it doesn't look. I mean, it is in your face, but it's not as in your face as other action figures are. So I guess, you know, there's kind of a pass. We've got this little armlet, or whatever you want to call it, with a W there, with two W's. She's got her wrist thingamajigs that she uses to block bullets, even though I think she's bulletproof anyway, so I think it's just her showing off or whatever. We've got these boots, fairly simple. There's a little bit of metal in there, but not too much. It's I mean, they look like latex, but they don't look metallic shiny, so that's pretty cool. There's her butt. Here's a, you know, Wonder Woman twerking video, I guess. That's no song ever. Her waist is super tiny. It's like Superman's thigh. But yeah, I don't know. We're not going to get into women's issues here. She's got nicely molded hair. That actually, you know, unlike other hair, when they are molded in, they don't restrict her movement that much. Because you can still comfortably pose her looking off to the side, looking over there, looking down, and it still looks pretty natural. It just looks kind of like wind is hitting it if she's posed like this. Or if she's just normal, it just looks like, oh yeah, and she's got some, you know, nice flowy hair or whatever. It's like, you know, a hair commercial. It's pretty nice. It's made out of molded soft rubber plastic, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, and she's got like a little choker or whatever. Overall, really like all these figures. They're all what I would consider you know, one of the most recent definitive versions of these characters, and you can't really go wrong with any of these guys. Oh, you know what I would like to point out? that I'm extremely happy with Batman's long cape that flows to the ground, and they've actually molded the cape hitting the ground. And I have to say that it may not be something that you guys think about, but when it comes to quality control for these kind of action figures, especially for the American market, they tend to miss quite a bit compared to their Japanese counterparts. So the fact that they've molded this correctly and have it hitting the ground and not having it like a centimeter or two higher than his foot placement would be, effectively, you know, making him have to like stand awkwardly like this, is a feat in itself. So, you know, we've got that, Mattel. Thank you. But, you know, for the initial retail price for these characters, you'd think they'd really get it correct the first time. And, you know, I think they did. I think they did a very good job. So there is my review. Oh, yeah. My particular Batman, by the way, has some difficulty with head movement. I'm not sure if that'll occur with everybody, but it happened to my 2 Batman that I had, both from this set and from the Heroes and Villains one. So that's maybe something to look out for. So there's my review of the of the Trinity War DC Comics action figure set.